All right, everybody. Welcome back to Penny for Your Thoughts. I am Reed Urban. I apologize for the long delay in getting a video out there. I've been working on homework a lot and traveling a little bit. I was just up in Seattle a couple of weeks ago for the beginning of the baseball season when the Giants play the Mariners. But I am back for a video finally. And today we're going to be talking about bureaucracies and specifically what levers do the three branches of government within our government have on controlling these bureaucracies. So I'm going to have a video sometime in the future about what officially a bureaucracy does and how it implements laws, and then how the three branches can hold them accountable. But today we're specifically going to talk about accountability for these agencies. So there are three branches of government, as everybody in government knows: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, that each has their own power to control the bureaucracy or how it can function. Let's start with the executive branch, which is where the bureaucracy is mostly under, and specifically on the president. So the president has the authority to both appoint and remove agency heads. They also have the power to reorganize the bureaucracy so it can be more favorable to the laws or such that the president wants passed, or once the rules and regulations passed. They can make changes in the budget proposals so that the bureaucracy can have to go a certain way within the budget to do what it needs to do. They can also ignore initiatives from the bureaucracy, so the president doesn't exactly have to follow the rules that the bureaucracy puts in place. They can issue executive orders specifically for the bureaucracy to pass or to follow a certain law right away, although it can hold up in a judicial branch. Judiciary has to review it. And then they can also reduce the agency's budget, similar to making changes in the budget proposals so that you either increase or decrease it. So that's the power the executive branch, specifically the president, has with the authority of the bureaucracies. So let's talk about the legislative branch, which has similar powers, or similar amount of powers that the president has when it comes to bureaucracy. So the legislative branch, which is Congress, they can pass legislation that can alter that agency's function. So if Congress doesn't like what the agency is doing with the functions or rules and regulations, they can pass legislation specifically to change how the bureaucracy manages, or the rules that it can implement. They can abolish existing programs. They can abolish existing bureaucracies, although this never happens because bureaucracies are essential, especially for government to work, and plus they create their own constituencies, and so politicians really need their support if they're going to be elected or get reelected, such like that. They can investigate bureaucratic agencies, usually through Senate hearings and after the fact controls, to get investigate what has happened, why the rules and regulations were put in place, what the bureaucracy is doing, that sort of thing. They can also influence presidential appointments. And usually the executive branch usually takes Congress's word in terms of who they want to see put in place in the bureaucracy. And this can be both Republican, Democrat, whoever's in Congress. They can influence how the president appoints that person to the bureaucracy. There are a few times where it doesn't happen, but most of the time the Congress usually gets what it wants when it comes to the bureaucracy heads. And then they can also write legislation to limit bureaucratic discretion. This also includes passing legislation that alters how an agency can function, or what the agency head can do, what they must show to Congress that they're doing right. So that's how Congress can can hold the bureaucracy accountable for that. And then there's one more branch of government that also has power to make the agencies accountable, and that's the judiciary branch. So what exactly does the judiciary branch do that can limit or make accountable the agencies and bureaucracies? Well, first, they can rule on whether that bureaucracy has acted within the law. So basically, like judicial review, did the agency act appropriately in passing rules and regulations, so that's within the law. They can also rule on the constitutionality of these rules or the agency actions, which also includes ruling on when they were within the law, but morally it focuses on, did they act constitutionally to pass these rules and regulations? Did it fall within the Constitution that the founders put in place? And they can also, what they call, force respect for the rights of individuals through hearings. So they can call the agency and said, did it Did they follow the law in terms of protecting the right of the individual? This also falls into the other two, but more specifically, did that particular individual, did his rights get infringed because of what the agency or the bureaucracy did when it comes through passing rules and regulations? This is usually through hearings. Mostly this happens at the lower courts, not so much at the Supreme Court, since they only have so many cases they can take. So usually it happens at the lower courts. That happens. And so those are the levers that each branch of government has to focus on how to make the bureaucracies more accountable. Now, just keep in mind that bureaucracies are very important for government for work. It's how, the executive branch can get things done, how society can get things done, how we are able to live more free, although it doesn't always seem like it sometimes, but that's how it works. And yeah, that's basically how you can make bureaucracies accountable, but they are important to society and they're important to politicians and to government to get things done. And so that is another Penny for Your Thoughts episode. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel and make sure you like this video and share it. Thanks a lot.